Welcome back to the 31305 podcast, episode 12. My name is Alex,
I'm Taylor.
and we're here to bring you on a little bit of a slower news week in the sports cycle. We do have some major news that dropped literally just an hour ago, which we'll get to first. But Taylor, did you catch any of the All-Star game in basketball? Did you watch any sports this weekend? What did you do?
What did I do this? Oh, Saturday we had our season ticket holder fan fest thing for the Diamondbacks. So I
Hmm.
guess I did a little bit of that.
There you go.
Was low key kind of ass. Not gonna lie, we had to wait like an hour in line for two autographs, but got a
Mm.
picture with the World Series trophy, so that was pretty cool.
Okay.
Got to see the clubhouse, that was pretty cool. But other than that, long lines to meet players, so we just ended up leaving. But good 3 day weekend. College baseball started. Uh, I don't know if we'll be covering much college baseball until we get to like maybe the College World
Omaha.
Series. Yeah,
Yeah.
but Auburn 2-1 on the weekend. I'll take it. Watch some golf. Watch the Daytona 500. I kind of just did nothing but watch sports all weekend, but it wasn't a huge weekend for sports.
That's literally what the purpose of this is, to watch sports to get knowledge for this. The closest thing I did to sports this weekend was play a lot of pickleball, honestly, and then I watched a little bit of the dunk contest in the All-Star game, and that was about it. What
I didn't even watch part any of I didn't watch any of it. I think I watched the first two shooters of the 3 point contest and then left. That was it.
really?
Yeah.
It was late too. It started later. The
Yeah. Well,
game
it
did.
was in Utah, so I mean,
That
yeah,
is
I
true.
guess.
West
But
Coast. It was up your alley. It wasn't up mine.
yeah, no, it's still way too late for me too.
Gotcha. Well, we'll start with the number one team in the country in basketball, normally known for their football progress, is Alabama. The University of Alabama had a bombshell drop today that they might have one of their top players suspended for March and arrested. In case you don't know, Darius Miles was their now former player, was arrested on January 17th. He was charged with capital murder of a classmate near campus. So he shot at their vehicle and obviously killed the passenger inside. The new details that have come out today is that the murder weapon, the gun used by Darius Miles, was supplied by none other than Brandon Miller. That Brandon Miller, their number one player, their top prospect, the leader of their team. It was at the hearing today that their testimony in the law enforcement where Miles stated that it was his windshield who was struck by gunfire twice. He's the one that texted Brandon Miller to bring the gun and to use it within a few hours of that text being sent. What do you make of the situation so far, Taylor, after learning this?
It is an absolute terrible look for Alabama as a whole. Nate Oates' comments in his press conference, I don't know if you got to see that, was wrong place, wrong time.
Hmm. And that they
Um,
knew about it. He
and
said
that
we.
they knew about it.
He said they're fully aware of the situation.
He said that they had known about it the whole time, and that there's nothing that they can do, and it's he was in the wrong place, wrong time. Sir, that is quite literally accessory to murder. That is not wrong place, wrong time. If you texted me or were like, hey, bro, go get my gun, I'd be like, hey, bro, I ain't doing that. That's accessory to murder, my friend.
Hmm.
Uh, this is just an absolute terrible look for Alabama. The sad thing is that nothing will come out of this.
He's literally an accomplice to murder. However, the chief deputy DA stated, quote, there's not a question I can answer in terms of why he wasn't arrested or charged, as there's nothing we could charge him with according to the law. What do you mean? He was an accomplice to the murder. He provided the murder weapon. You have proof that that was the murder weapon. I'm sure they could look up what it was actually filed underneath his name, under Brandon Miller's name. There's enough there to at least hold him and question him about it. But nope, since he started in all 27 games, he's their leading scorer. He probably won't get charged by the University of Alabama or in Tuscaloosa Police Department. It's just a travesty.
So I think he ended up saying that the gun was Darius Miles. I think that was what it was, and that Darius Miles asked him to go get his own gun and bring it to him for self-defense, which we all know it was not self-defense. He murdered that woman in cold blood.
Hmm.
Um, Even if it was Darius Miles' gun, I'm pretty sure it's still illegal to go get somebody else's gun if you do not have the license for it. So
Hmm.
they are walking a very tight line in Tuscaloosa right now. I don't know how Nate Oates can just say wrong place, wrong time. That might have been one of the most insensitive things I've ever heard. But yeah, nothing's gonna come out of this. They're the number one team in the well, are they? Actually, I didn't even see what the rankings were this week, but
I
they're
think Houston topped the rankings
yeah, I think
actually,
Houston's one, Bama's
but Bama's
two.
two. Bama's
So
two.
I mean, it's the number two team in the country. Their leading scorer and top five prospect. They could go anywhere from 2 to 5 in the next year's draft. So
Mhm.
nothing's gonna come out of it this year, but this might dampen the draft stock a little bit. I mean, I don't. Character issues have always been a thing, and people get drafted with character issues anyway. But I mean, just look at what Laramie Tunsil did.
That was more of a ploy by his agent to get him to be faltered down.
Yeah,
But I do agree. I think it is going to bring a big pause on potential teams drafting him come June or July. And for the rest of Alabama's basketball program, I'm sure, like the coach said, they're going to take it as nothing because they already knew about this
yeah. They
information.
don't. They
But
literally do not give a shit.
they do not care. But for the SEC and for the NCAA, I think they have to take into account of what do we do in terms of disciplining the team or the player or the coach because you don't want to have this just be a common occurrence that occurs in your program, you know. And I know Alabama's number one going to be number one seed, part in a collapse at the end of the season, but you think they have to do something at least to bring justice to this poor person that lost their life and the man who supplied the weapon that ended up causing a murder, you think would have at least some retributions towards that.
You would think, but let's also remember what school this is. So,
Hmm.
will anything happen? No. Should it happen? Absolutely. It's gonna be a slap on the. He might get benched for like a half. That might be about it against like Ole Miss. He might get benched for a half, but really sad situation. That just it just shows that Bama literally does not give a fuck about anything other than winning, and they'll do anything to win.
Like I remember 10 years ago when James or 11 years ago when Jameis Winston stole crab legs from a Publix and people were calling for him to be suspended for the
Oh
season.
yeah.
And he missed one game against Clemson and ended up winning. And that was just petty theft. Like, yes, it's a crime, but I mean, it wasn't as bad as accomplishing a murder where a life was lost. So, if that's a punishment for football, you have to imagine it's gonna be worse for basketball.
People wanted Jim Harbaugh's job this offseason for taking a recruit to get a cheeseburger in the offseason. They wanted him fired for getting a recruit a cheeseburger. Bruce
Hmm.
Pearl, the Auburn basketball coach, got show caused for having a barbecue with recruits. Could not coach, got fired from Tennessee, and thank God found his way down to the Plains in Auburn, turned that program around. But literally fired, stain on his resume, and Brandon Miller commits accessory to murder and is going to get off scot free. Nate Oates also, don't know if you saw this one, reached out to Ray Lewis to see how he handled the situation because he said that I think we're going through the same thing.
That I mean, shout out Ray Lewis, University of Miami legend, but not the guy I would talk to for advice
No,
for at least not in this aspect. Maybe how to motivate your team or how to play hard, but not how to handle a murder situation.
yeah,
Not
he reached out
not
to
the
Ray
best guy.
Lewis to get Ray Lewis's opinion on things because they're going through the same thing. Nate Oates said that
That's
man needs to be
literally
fired.
that's literally like if one of your players commits sexual assault and you reach out to Ray Rice. You're like, hey, how did you handle
Yeah.
all this stress? Like that is terrible. That is awful.
Yeah, hey, my child is being abused. Reaches out to Ray Rice,
No. Or Tyreek Hill at that point
Tyreek
too.
Hill. Yeah,
Yeah, terrible look for the University of Alabama. We'll see what happens in the future with their program.
I will say Twitter's got the jokes on this one though.
Oh yeah, the one I
Oh my
sent you is the one
god,
I stole from Twitter.
dude,
They were
Twitter
like,
has the jokes.
they would say, well, you know what they mean? They say shoot or shoot. Like, I mean, that was
God,
awful.
I
That was awful.
feel the next Bama away game is gonna be wild.
Who do
The
they who do they
amount of
play?
vulgar signs is going to be insane.
Let's see. Bama plays. Like, if I can get it up without an
Like, please
advertisement.
be like at Kentucky. I think they just played Tennessee, so I don't think it's Tennessee, and they just played us.
They're on the road against South Carolina tomorrow at 9.
That could get interesting.
Yep.
South Carolina don't give a fuck either.
And then they have two games at home, one against Auburn, and then on the road at Texas A&M to end the year.
Damn, so they only have one more road game, and it's South Carolina.
Yeah, only one more road game,
Damn.
sadly.
Well, hopefully South Carolina can give them some hell, because
They're 3
I
and
want to
11 in
see.
conference play.
I
So I
want to
mean,
see. Oh, they're not gonna win. I just want to see the signs.
yeah. I didn't realize LSU has lost 14 straight games, dude. LSU is ass.
What?
LSU has lost 14 straight games in basketball. I don't know
No,
if you knew that.
there's
Yeah,
no way.
they've lost 14 straight games. I thought Cal was bad. I don't know if you've seen Cal.
I don't watch Cal basketball.
Cal is 3-24 on the season. They've lost 11 straight. They have three wins.
Jeez, dude. There's no way
Yeah.
LSU's lost 14 in a row.
Yep. They are 1-13 in conference play. They lost their first game, won their second, and they've lost all the ones since. And they were 12-1 out of
Yeah,
conference.
they were good, but this is what happens with the whole Will Wade situation. When you cheat, the program just absolutely shuts down. Yeah, they have lost 14 in a row. That's insane.
They haven't played a game closer than 10 points since SEC play started.
And they beat Arkansas, right? That was the one team they beat.
Yeah, they beat Arkansas by 3. They lost to
Yeah.
Kentucky by 3, and since then their average defeat is greater than 11 points. They
Oh,
lost to Bama by 40 on the road.
that's what you get for cheating, LSU.
Yeah. Anyways, distracted from that. We do have a great performance this weekend. Well, not great, but at least a legend retributing himself back to his prime, you hope. That's Tiger Woods, who made his return at the Genesis Invitational this weekend. He looked pretty good until Sunday hit. He finished at 1 under, not even top 40. But even he said he wanted to play at least a full 4 days, which he hasn't been able to do since his car accident last year and his ankle issues. He actually played 5 days as he went participated in the pro am on Wednesday. I don't know why, if he's trying to test his body out and stretch it for a major event, why he would do a fifth day as well. But he started tiring and fatigued in the back nine on Saturday and Sunday, but his body held up just enough for up to finish. My personal thought is I just want him to be healthy for the Masters in 2 months in April because Tiger Woods makes that event way more fun, and just to see him with the red Nike shirt on Sunday with a chance at the top 5 in the Masters is much watch TV. But what did you catch it all? Any the
I
Tiger?
did.
What are your thoughts on it?
I did. I watched Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I didn't watch him on Sunday, but he looked good Thursday. He definitely had a noticeable limp, and I mean, I don't think anyone can expect anything less than what he went through. I mean, being in that bad of a car accident and then coming back and playing pretty soon after. He definitely struggled. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He looked okay. He looked better than I thought he would. I didn't think he was going to make the cut, and he just barely made the cut at 1 over. But I mean, hey, it's Tiger Woods, so like you can never count that man out. Definitely, you could tell he wasn't finding fairways. His iron play was pretty meh. I mean, short game pretty meh. And on the greens, he looked pretty bad. But I mean, it's his first tournament, and I don't even know how long at this point. It's been like over 200 days, I think.
Hmm.
So, I mean, to be fair, he made the cut, finished 1 under at Riviera, which, I mean, not the hardest course ever, but definitely no local public golf course.
Hmm. He did miss. Missed the cut at the Open. That was the last major event he played in, and then he made the cut at the PGA Championship in May before having to withdraw. So the last time he actually finished a full 4 days of golf was the Masters last year. So
Wow, that's a long time.
yeah, so that's what they're saying. Like he at least was able to walk the course for 4, technically 5 days. And you're right. I mean, he had 5 bogeys on Sunday. They said his greens play was really poor, but again, I think it's just getting him back to playing, and he might do one more event for the Masters. We'll see. But he even said himself he's probably only going to play the majors and maybe a couple events outside of it every year now. So I think he's not going to play until the Masters, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything on the schedule that's like huge before the Masters. I mean, like the Arnold Palmer's coming up, but I mean, if he misses the Arnold Palmer, it's whatever.
Hmm.
He
And
definitely. Oh, go ahead.
and there's also like other golfers to watch, and
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
Live Golf Series. Like of course they have their thing with against the PGA.
Which I have not heard anything about the Live. Like everyone was like, oh, all the great golfers are going to Live, and like it's gonna take over everything. And I have not heard anything about it. I know Dustin Johnson's out there. I think Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, they're all out there. Phil Mickelson, and I don't hear anything about it. I
They
mean,
did have a couple of players added to the Live, but like you said, Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, and obviously Phil Mickelson. But yeah, I don't know who else like what they're gonna do, what they're gonna have, because I personally would still rather watch the PGA and the major events. Like if I'm watching the Players Championship and Brooks Koepka isn't on there, like I'm just gonna say, why aren't you playing in the major tournament? You know?
Oh, that is coming up. I forgot the Players Championships in March.
Yeah. So I'm
So
I'm like, why aren't you playing in this? Same with a lot of players, like his brother Chase Koepka's actually on there. Phil, like I want to see. Obviously, the Masters winners get an invite every year, regardless to the Masters, so we'll always see them there. But it's just disappointing to like go see a major PGA championship and not have all the best players in the world participate. So
I
that's that.
mean, PGA is definitely still in good hands. John Rahm, I think he won this week. I think he won by 2 shots. Colin
Hmm.
Morikawa is really good. Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele. I mean, there's still a lot of really good guys in the PGA, and I honestly, I watch the PGA. Like, I don't watch the LIV at all.
Yeah,
I think the PGA is perfectly entertaining enough.
and there's still plenty of like former holdouts too. I mean, Rory's still there, obviously Tiger.
Rory
You know,
Tiger,
like you
Justin
said,
Thomas,
Justin
Tom
Thomas.
Speed.
Yeah. So I think overall the PGA will be fine. Like
Oh
if
yeah,
anything, it's every time the live is mentioned, it just gives them more publicity.
yeah. We
Honestly.
we thought when the live was introduced that it might be like the PGA Tour killer, and that's just proved to not happen at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. In terms of other sporting events, that's not the major four sports in America. The Daytona 500, like you said, happened this weekend. I don't watch NASCAR. I don't watch racing at all. But you said you caught a little bit of it. What struck out to you the most?
As a pure-blooded South-born American, I used to watch NASCAR like all the time, and then
Hmm.
I realized I was like, damn, this is kind of boring.
Yeah.
And then during COVID, NASCAR was like the first sport to come back. I was like, all right, whatever. I gotta bet money on something. I might as well watch NASCAR. And I've been watching NASCAR for the last like 3 years now
Hmm.
because I have a crippling gambling addiction. Uh,
Crippling.
Dude, this was like the longest race ever. I think it was over 4 hours long. And the Daytona
Hmm.
500 is 500 miles, but like, Jesus, it felt so long.
Hmm.
It was a good race. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't going to give a shit about the Daytona 500, but they have the playoff at the end of the race now. If there's a caution with like 2 laps to go, kind of makes her exciting racing and a lot of crashes. But yeah, Daytona 500 is always something that like that's like a I feel like that's a bucket list like sporting event that everyone wants to go to at least once.
That and
Like
Talladega,
that in
I would say.
Talladega, yeah.
Yeah.
Or like even if you don't like NASCAR, like you still want to go just for the experience.
I know Ricky Stenhouse won and Joey
Yeah, he
Logano
did.
finished second. I just can't ever see Joey Logano in a race car and it's not the Home Depot one because that's what he had in the beginning of his career. Like I just associate Home Depot with Joey Logano now. I know he rides for with the Pennzoil sponsor now, but I just always think of him as like being the Home Depot. Like I hear the commercial in my head when I think of Joey Logano
I don't
that
even
much.
remember that. That must have been ages ago.
It was like 2012, 2013. He's
Yeah.
been with Pennzoil for a while, but still that like because when I watched only a little bit of NASCAR when Jimmy Johnson was winning every single season, honestly. And now he's actually participating in some of the races,
Yeah, he did.
but obviously he didn't win. He didn't even come
No,
close.
he ended up I mean he was close. He was top 10 at the end of the race and then ended up being in one of the big wrecks towards the end. So I mean he was up there for a majority of the race and I don't know if you know Travis Pastrana.
I do not.
Oh, okay. Well, I used to watch Travis Pastrana when I was a kid. He the host of Nitro Circus on MTV and he was like a rally car driver. He was in the race too. It looked pretty cool. But
You're just aging yourself.
yeah,
But I
that's
did,
exactly what I'm doing.
but I did actually. I forgot his name, but I did see that he was in the race because I remember they interviewed him post
Yeah,
race.
yeah.
Yeah. We have, of course, coming up another major sporting event, the World Baseball Classic. It's kicking off. We've talked about it before. It's kicking off in
2 weeks.
Miami in 2 weeks and in Arizona, where you live.
And guess
Uh,
who's playing out here, baby?
the US of A against Mexico
Yeah,
and
we get Mexico, Canada, Great Britain, and then another team that I can't think of.
gotcha.
Colombia, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
All I know is the World Baseball Classic here will feature Nicaragua, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Israel, and I believe that's it. I think that's all
Don't you
four
guys have
teams.
Cuba too?
We do not have Cuba. No, I don't
Oh,
know
that's
where it is.
weird. Why wouldn't they have put Cuba in Miami?
I have no idea.
That makes the most sense out of anything.
Yeah, they have five teams here for some reason, but no, I don't know where Cuba is playing. If they're even in it, to be honest.
what are the other host sites? I know it's us, Miami. There's got to be two more because then there's all the Asian teams.
Yeah, I do see. And for the first time, those that defected from Cuba are being allowed to play for the Cuban national team. So, like a lot of former players, like Jonas Cespedes is going to play for Cuba now. Like
Oh,
Johan Moncada, Luis Robert, a former Marlins minor leaguers in it. I believe I can't remember his name, and he's on the Marlins. Wow. Not Gene Segura. Jorge Soler is also going to be on the Cuban team, so it'll be interesting to see him play. But I don't know where they're playing.
interesting.
I,
It is in Tokyo and Taichung, so two overseas, and then Phoenix and Miami.
oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, and Taiwan. Yeah, they're playing in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Cuba has to go to Taiwan
Oh my
to play
god.
to play Italy,
Oh,
Panama.
that's a real that's a game I'll stay up to watch. Cuba versus Italy.
Yeah, but I think I'm going to try to go to the championship game because it's on a Tuesday. I don't think I have anything Wednesday, March 21st. But the
Yeah, see,
tickets
at least
are crazy.
you get the championship game. We just get pool play.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, we have USA, Mexico, Colombia, Canada, and a qualifier team that I don't know who it was.
Yeah, I don't think they're even available for
Oh,
sale anymore.
Great Britain. We got Great Britain. That's who it is.
Gotcha. But regardless, that'll be fun to watch. I know we've talked about the teams a little bit, but personally, I think the Dominican Republic are going to win this thing easily. I mean, they always have a great team. You remember that moment where Manny Machado hit the Jeep drive against Adam Jones in center field, and he robbed a home run, and the USA won that game in the I think it was the quarterfinals even or the semifinals in 2017.
What a game.
But I mean, the Dominican Republic is stacked. You got Sandy Alcantara, Johnny Cueto, Yarden Garcia, and and pitching is okay, but their lineup is Gary Sanchez, Robinson Cano, Willie Adames, Devers, Wander Franco, Vlad Jr., Manny Machado. I mean, they have Soto, they have Julio Rodriguez, they have Ketel Marte. I mean, this lineup 1 through 9 is insane, and they're not following the new baseball rules that they're implementing this season with the pitch clock and the timer and all that kind of stuff. So for me, the Dominican Republic is going to win like easily. I don't see anybody team that's going to take a game off of them.
Yeah, and I don't see a team in the at least a pool play taking a game off the U.S. Um, the U.S.'s pitching is pretty lackluster. Kershaw, I know, has already said he's not going to play now. He's pulled out.
Yep.
Um, like pitching wise, they have Kyle Freeland, Kendall Graveman, Merrill Kelly, who I think is going to be a pretty solid piece for him. Miles McCollus, I think that's how you say his name. I have no idea. But and Brady Singer, I think is Adam Wainwright's going to be there, but the rotation is pretty weak. Their bullpen's pretty solid with Devin Williams, um, Brooks Raley, Ryan Presley, Adam Ottavino. Like bullpen wise, they should be fine. But their lineup is no slouch either. They got Bobby Witt Jr., Trey Turner, Mike Trout, Will Smith, Kyler Schwarber, JT Realmuto, Jeff McNeil, Paul Goldschmidt, Mookie Betts, Nolan Arenado, Tim Anderson, like Pete Alonso. This team can hit too. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a team in their pool that's going to stop them. I think Japan is going to be interesting. Japan's always good. Obviously, going to have Shohei Ohtani, and then a bunch of players that we've never heard of are going to hit the ball really hard.
Yeah.
So
I
I think it's probably between those three teams.
yeah, I could agree. I think the best part about the World Baseball Classic is no matter where it is, like all the fans of each country come represent. It's kind of like the World Cup. So like the crowd is just way more engaged and louder than a baseball
Oh,
environment. Unless you're like in a playoff situation or like you're the Cardinals, for example. Like this is how like baseball in the US like should be for every game, but teams suck, teams disappoint every year like the Reds or the Orioles, also the Tigers and the Marlins. So like you wish every game could be like this, but just the excitement they have is incredible.
dude, this USA Mexico game on a Saturday night is gonna be fucking wild.
It's in Phoenix.
It's in Phoenix.
Buy tickets. Buy
The
tickets.
USA Mexico game on Saturday night might end out quite explosive.
You got to buy tickets for that game.
I looked at him; it was like $100 to get in, so we might buy him.
Really?
It was pretty bad. We might buy him closer to game time.
Hmm.
like maybe the day of. We were supposed to have like an exclusive pre-sale for season ticket holders,
Yeah.
and my code didn't work, so I wasn't able to buy them. If anything, I mean, I'll still go to the. I think the England game's the next day on Sunday.
Yeah.
Tickets are like $7. So I mean, if anything, I'll just go to that. But would definitely like to take in USA versus Mexico in Phoenix.
For the Marlins, if you're a season ticket member, you get first access to however many tickets you have. So like if you're
Yeah,
one
yeah.
season ticket member, you get one. But all the tickets from the quarterfinals on are very limited availability, so you can't buy it officially through like, World Baseball Classic, Ticketmaster. You have to go on like StubHub or something. But the Israel Dominican Republic game is $25 to get in, which
That's
isn't
not
bad
bad. Yeah.
because that's the only Dominican Republic game still left. All the others have already been
Oh
sold
yeah.
out.
I mean,
Like it's
shit. At that
crazy.
point, Israel's cool, and they got Ian Kinsler coaching. I think Ian Kinsler's coaching
Yeah,
at
he's
this
not
point.
playing. He's not
Yeah, I
playing. I
know
hope
he.
he's
I
not
know.
playing.
I know he played last time. I think he said he was gonna like be a player coach this year, but he might not be playing.
Yeah.
But that's the only notable name on Israel I think I know.
Yeah, we'll let you know when we actually go to if we go to the games and what the environment's like. Because I would love to go see one game at least, and take in the
Oh
environment.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go to at least one. It just might not be USA Mexico. I might go downtown for that game,
That'll be a fun environment in Arizona.
but if no matter what happens, I'm leaving the game immediately because
It's
that
going like
is the recipe for disaster out there.
it's like going to a Dodgers Padres game with a Padres shirt on in Chavez
Exactly what
Ravine.
happens. Bro, I'm kind of scared to wear my like American flag because I might be the only one there wearing American colors.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
We'll see. It'll be
We'll
fun nonetheless.
Again, we go from big sporting event to big sporting event. With NBA All Star Game happened this weekend, and would
Big,
you big right?
big.
Big. Team LeBron finally lost. LeBron James is no longer perfect in the All Star game. Team Giannis came and won 184 to 175. Jason Tatum wins All Star Game MVP with a record 55 points. Jalen Brown drops 35, 14, and 5 off the bench. Kyrie with 32, 15, and 6. I mean, when the team's scoring 175 points, these stat lines are going to be crazy. But I think the worst part about this game wasn't that it was boring, because it was a little bit, but both captains got hurt. I don't know if you saw the game at all, but Giannis sprained a ligament in his right wrist, is undergoing treatment, and he'll return once the pain subsides. So he could be out a week at least from the All Star game. He only played 1 minute. And then LeBron injured his hand on the block attempt with a right hand contusion, and he said he'll be fine. He won't miss a game. But I don't know. It was missing like that good, crazy moment that some other All Star games have reproduced. Like you just did. It was a big yawn.
Bro, that snooze fest.
It was.
Holy shit, dude! Like, I think basketball it's taken the mantle as the worst All Star weekend out of the four major sports because that was awful. The only plus I'll give them is that they did the draft right before the game, which I thought was pretty cool. Like normally they do the draft a couple days before, a week before.
Yeah, it's televised on TNT,
Yeah,
which is still better than before, where they just randomly pick the teams. Like I do
yeah.
like that better.
Yeah, this time they picked them, had like a hour break to have a Post Malone and 21 Savage concert, which was interesting.
It was great, but not for
Yeah,
Utah. Not for
yeah.
Utah. Not for
I
the
mean, definitely
Jazz.
not the place I'm bringing 21 Savage out in Utah, but I mean, I
Yeah.
thought it was cool they did that live and kind of like throwback to the days in school where you just pick your team and run it.
Hmm.
But I mean, after that, oh my god! Like if I wanted to watch one-on-one, no defense, I'd just go on YouTube and watch random street ballers. Like it was awful.
You'd
There
watch
was
us play at Veterans.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd go to my local park and watch the dumbass 16-year-olds play. But that was the game was just not. It's not there. It's not close to any of the other major sports. I don't think. I mean, they
Hmm.
all suck except for baseball. But like when you when every play is just an ISO and you see all eight of the other players standing with hands on the hips, like basically on the sideline, like come on, what are we doing here?
They had a clip where they showed they were playing some song in the arena, and like Bam and Pascal Siakam are dancing to it, and Giannis literally has his kid like on his shoulders, like dancing to it. It's like a community, like a family event, more than like a competitive All Star game. Which I mean, for the players is nice, but like then don't call it an All Star game. Call it like a league get together of friends. because there's
Yeah.
no animosity, there's no competitiveness. Like,
Well, except for
where's
LeBron blocking Shea as the
yeah,
literal only defense played all day.
LeBron tried his best to lead his team to an undefeated record. LeBron is probably the only person that takes it seriously, honestly. But like, I want like Kobe and Jordan talking smack to each other. I want like the great moments of the past, like even Steph from last year, like shooting the three, no look, and then just everybody watching around and then running back. Like there was no great moment that happened
Yeah,
this All Star game, which is
and
thinking what it missed.
the Luca half court shot with Trey next to him, like
That was in
both
the
were
All
like,
that was in the rookie sophomore game. That wasn't even in the All Star
was
game.
that the Rising Stars
That
game?
was the Rising Stars
Oh,
challenge. Yeah.
but like still, even then, like that's still a cool moment. But like
Hmm.
as long as there's no incentive, there's nothing to play for. Like they just are out there, which is why baseball had it right back in the day. I don't know how long ago it's been, but when the winner got home field advantage for the World Series.
It was within 8 years. It happened like not too
That's
long ago.
what every major sport needs to do, well, other than football, which you can't. But the other three major sports need to tie in. You know, the winner of the All Star game gets a monetary, 100K each,
Hmm.
and that conference gets home field advantage in the playoffs. That is
Well,
the only way you'll make this competitive.
you can't do it in basketball because remember it's not conferences anymore. Like they each pick their own teams from across the
Oh
conferences,
shit,
you
you're
know.
right. Yeah, I
So,
didn't think
and
about
I
that.
don't want to get rid of that because I do enjoy watching like John Morant play with Giannis. You know, like things that would never like I won't
Yeah,
say never because basketball people move so much, but like seeing like the teammates play like against each other, for example. You know,
yeah,
that
that
kind
makes
of
sense.
deal.
I completely forgot that it wasn't even
Conferences,
conferences
yeah.
anymore.
But they had to do something because like there was even reports to where in 2003 they offered Kobe, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, and LeBron $1 million
Like a
to do the
million for
dunk
the dunk
contest,
contest.
and they said no. Like imagine like that would have been the best dunk contest ever. So they need to do something like that. We're talking about the dunk contest in a minute, but they need to do something like that for the All Star game or something. Like there's already contract bonuses if you make the All Star game, but if you win, there should be more bonus. I don't know. They gotta do something.
Yeah, there's just especially. I mean, I guess the other two sports it would work with giving home field advantage, but with basketball, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if $1 million isn't going to entice LeBron, Kobe, Vince Carter, I don't know what will at that point. Like, yeah, if you lose, it's a damaging to your brand, I guess, or whatever. But like, you're already the biggest brand known to man. Like,
And you're losing to the best. It's
yeah,
not like it's a bad loss. Oh shoot, I lost to Tracy McGrady in a
yeah.
dunk contest.
Oh my
Like,
god, dude! Tracy McGrady just did a triple backflip 780 windmill dunk, and I lost, bro. That's gonna drop my Nike stock.
yeah, LeBron jumped over a pickup
Like,
truck. You know when he was 20.
yeah,
When he was 20. Oh shoot, like what?
yeah.
I don't know. They need to do something. Speaking about the dunk contest, it actually was a little bit better than we gave it credit for. I know we kind of shat on it last week, but only because of one person. Realistically, it was Mac McClung. He did win the dunk contest. He had some good dunks. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
He did them
he
all.
did. That man
He did
balled
them all
out.
in his first attempt, which I think is impressive. He did a 540. He did a lot of like between the legs and spinning jumps or spinning dunks, which were cool. But I think just nailing it on the first attempt really won it for him because almost every single other person couldn't do it on their first attempt. I think Murphy had two, and everybody
Trey
else had
Murphy.
Trey Murphy had two, and everyone else had one that went in, and he came in second place. But
Dude.
the other
Jericho Sims was so bad.
awful. His biggest thing was just, oh, how far can I put my arm into the
Yeah.
rim? That was for
And
every
he
dunk.
did it twice.
He
Like,
did the same
come
dunk
on.
twice.
And he
Like,
still got like a 47 on it. It's like, come on, man. Like,
and Kenyon Martin Jr. was okay, but literally, like, he finished every dunk with like 40 seconds to go because he kept missing or he kept like
yeah.
fumbling the ball in the run up.
Yeah. Like, if Jericho Sims was 6 foot, that's impressive.
Hmm.
Jericho Sims is 6'11". He doesn't have to jump that high to get his arm in the hoop.
If he's 6 foot, you might as well just jump through the hoop at that point.
Yeah,
He
bro.
might be tall enough.
If someone 6 foot is doing that, that's a 50.
Hmm.
If someone 6'11" is doing that, it's a 40. Like that, it was just awful. I don't know why you thought that was gonna win, but
I
whatever.
don't know.
He probably just they were like, hey, we'll give you 10K, just show up, and that's pretty much all it was.
That's all it was.
He said after, he's like, I'm not embarrassed for myself. I don't give a shit. I'd be embarrassed.
That's probably the highest peak he's going to hit in his career,
Oh,
unless he
for
turns into
sure.
Jeremy Lin. Like,
And that's like exactly what the dunk contest has been. Has been like the highest highs that someone can get, and then it's done. Like look at Glenn Robinson the third, won a dunk contest, haven't heard of him since. Amadou Diallo won a dunk contest, haven't heard of him since. Anthony Simons, solid backup. That's about it.
Like since Donovan Mitchell's won it, you're right.
Yeah.
Since Donovan Mitchell won his first year, I mean, used to have like Dwight Howard in it, obviously. Used to have Nate Robinson in it, obviously MJ, and Kobe did it 1 year. But I mean, besides that, like the high-profile names we talked about before, they don't do the dunk
There's
contest
they're not doing it at all. But they'll do the 3-point contest. So I don't really get it.
because the three-point
I mean,
contest doesn't require practicing or effort, really.
I mean,
Like,
neither does the dunk contest. It just requires you to think of a cool dunk and then do it.
yeah, I mean, Giannis did the dunk contest when he was younger, but obviously he's not gonna do it now. But he was also like a string bean when he did it. He probably weighed 50 pounds less than he does now, so he could
If
actually rock the rim when he dunked now.
if Andre Drummond can do a dunk contest, anyone can.
That's true. That's true. They need to entice like top 10 draft picks to do it or top 5
Yeah.
draft picks.
I
Like
know Zion said that he'd think about it, but it would have to be next year. Josh said that. I think Josh said that his his
Twitter.
I
Oh
was
my
gonna
God,
say
you
tweet and
boomer.
then Twitter, his tweet, he said if he got a billion likes on it, he'd do the dunk contest. So that's not happening. Like it's not enticing to any of these guys that we want to see in the dunk contest. Like I don't want to see Jericho Sims. I want to see Zion and Ja throwing it off the backboard to each other and yamming on some random ass 7 foot Yao Ming looking dude. Like
They need to get Yuri Watanabe in the dunk contest next year. That's what they need. They need
they
to
need
get him in there. Or
they
or
need to figure
Scooter
something out.
Henderson. Is that his name?
Scoot,
Scoot
yeah,
Henderson.
Scoot Henderson.
Yeah, they need to get him in the list. That's what I'm saying. Like they need him in.
They need some sort of like notable name in the dunk contest next year, or this shit is just gonna go down the drain.
Yeah. We did have a big time name though in one event at least. We had Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, Buddy Hield, somewhat recognizable names.
Game
And
time.
Dame time. He even said it at the 3-point contest. He had to go into that mode because he stunk the first two racks. He only hit two of the first two racks, but super clutch performance. He got almost the entire last rack to win it at the end over Buddy Hield by 1 point. Jason Tatum got third. Buddy Hield got second. It was more entertaining because again, just the natural like, oh, I need this much to win, so we got to see. Oh, if he doesn't hit the next two, then there's no way he can win it. So like, it's more competitive in that sense. But they need to re-evaluate who they send because Julius Randle was a questionable decision beforehand,
That was weird.
and he was awful. And even his son, who they
His son
panned,
he was
going like he
crying.
was going like this after he was shooting because it was so bad. I mean, Tyler Hero was also not great. After the third rack, he ended up doing a lot better, but not enough to stay in it. But the first two racks, he hit one ball.
Yeah, that man got
Um,
bored of building the brick house and then kind of figured it out at the end.
Turned it on, and his release was so
Bro,
slow.
it
He didn't
was
even
so
finish.
bad.
He was literally
I didn't think he was gonna make anything after it. Even
he
those first three wrecks was so bad.
he shot it so slow. I mean, you got to take it like a catch and shoot. Like you get the ball out quick. That's why Clay and Steph are so good because they practice it. They have racks with them and they practice. I don't think anybody outside of Jason Tatum, Buddy Hield, and Dame actually did that, which is why they got top three.
No, yeah, Tyler Hero was really bad. Julius Randle was really bad. Like it was just not a great 3-point contest.
Okay. I would also love to see a 3-point contest between the worst 3-point shooters.
Like that'd be fucking hilarious.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
Like
that's hilarious.
get Andre Drummond out there, get Draymond Green out there.
Yeah.
Let's have Shaq do a guest appearance. Like
Exactly.
let's have a joke 3-point contest. Like the winning number is 5. Like
Like,
that would be awesome.
Have like at least like a separate section of it's like only centers. Like Jokic, Joel Embiid, Giannis, they're all just shooting threes. Like have that
I
be
mean,
like a side game or something.
Jokic and Embiid would actually I think do okay.
Yeah,
And
but that's still like that'd be fun to watch, even if they're doing good. Like they're big men that can shoot threes.
yeah, I want Tyler Zeller versus Cody Zeller. I want like
Mason Plumlee and Miles Plumlee against the Zellers.
yeah, I want Jalen Duren. I want Isaiah Stewart. Like
Hey, whoa! Put some respect on Isaiah Stewart. He went 4 for 6 from 3 the other night. I don't want to hear that.
yeah, what's his seasonal percentage? Under 30?
He actually isn't terrible.
Let me see. Isaiah
It's
Stewart.
it's probably under 30, but it's not as bad as you think.
32%. I'll
Yeah,
give him that credit.
yeah, he's like low key kind of worked on it, and it's why I'm kind of thinking he can be a stretch four next year.
Yeah, he's
next
shooting
to-
4 a game. He's
Yeah,
shooting 4 a
so-
game.
I mean, hey, he's making 1.5 a game, so
Yeah, 1.3. Yeah. Okay, not too bad.
I'll take it as last year he was shot like what 4%.
he shot. He shot 32%, but he shot half a three a game. He shot
Yeah.
1 3 every 2 games. But That's what I'm saying. Like something like that would be awesome. Like, or let's have the shortest players in the NBA do a dunk
And the
contest, or
dunk
the
contest, yeah,
tallest, like something like that,
yeah.
or the oldest players. Like I want to. I mean, Richard Jefferson still had bounce when he was 38, but like I want to see Udonis Haslem in the dunk contest.
Oh my god, dude,
That's
that
what I
would be
want to see.
awful. He get
Speak.
tired. He get tired before he gets to the rim.
That's why you only do one round. You do one round. You don't do 4 rounds. You just do one round.
That might be what gets Udonis Haslem to retire is the dunk contest.
There we go. It's there we go.
That might be too much for him.
Speaking of the Heat, they did make a great, I think, a couple of great signings from the buyout market. They got Kevin Love, who reached the buyout with Cleveland on Monday, signed with them late yesterday, along with Cody Zeller, also signing with the Heat. And I think it's what they needed. They were missing some bigs for the playoff run. You know, outside of Bam, they don't really have a consistent tall guy to stay in there. They get some defense with Zeller. They get some good three-point shooting and good passing with Kevin Love. And I was kind of hoping they would get a guard, but they expect Lowry to be back within the next 4 weeks. So I personally love the pickups. I don't know if you saw it all, any of the signings they made.
I did. I did.
But overall, I think it's a good move by Miami.
Yeah, I think anything Miami does at this point is going to be a plus because they're hovering in the play-in still. They're right
Just
above
under
it.
the 6th seed. Yeah, they're in the 7th seed
Yeah.
right now.
So they're going to have to kind of pick it up if they don't want to be in the play-in, which is not a spot I thought they'd be in at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, the Knicks and Nets are just above them. It's only like 2 games, but they got to catch up some ground now in the second half of the season.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid move. Kevin Love's number will also be retired by Cleveland, I believe it was.
Yeah, they
I
said
think
when
that's
they
it was.
released him, like
Yeah.
number 0, no one's going to wear it. Which, I mean,
Which is
yeah,
interesting
fair.
because, like, I don't know. Like, they won a championship, but, like, he was only there for, what, 6, 7 years?
I don't think it's also like just that he was there for time wise. It's like if you look at his numbers, he's like top 5 in a lot of categories for Cleveland Cavaliers played. Like he got traded there in 2014, so he was there for 9 seasons. Which I mean, LeBron's numbers being retired by the Heat, which I know he won 2 titles, went to
Yeah.
4 with the Heat.
Bro, any team that LeBron's play on, his numbers get retired there.
I don't know if he gets it from the Lakers.
I think he gets it from the Lakers.
You think so?
I think he does. He broke Kareem's record. He won him a chip. I think, yeah. And it'll be his. Well, I don't think it'll be his last stop. He probably goes somewhere else, but. I mean, yeah. I think I would rather have the Lakers retire his number than Kevin Love get his retired by the Cavs. I mean, he did a lot, but. I mean, are we just throwing jersey retirements out like crazy now?
I think from the team it's okay, but I mean, he was a 3-time All-Star with them, you know. I mean, they don't win that championship without him. You know, he had the big
You know
stop on
who else?
Steph.
You know who else is a 3-time All Star?
Who?
Andre Drummond.
Oh,
You
God.
know how? Do you know whose jersey is not retired?
Andre Drummond.
Andre Drummond.
The thing is, the Pistons haven't won a playoff game with Andre
This is fair,
Drummond.
this is fair.
So, whereas
You
Kevin
know-
Love,
You mean the Pistons haven't won a playoff game because of Andre
because
Drummond.
exactly. No, I mean K Love, like they didn't win that championship without the full court outlet passes and obviously his stop on Curry in the finals that they won. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he was a big reason why they were even competitive without Kyrie Irving. And obviously, he got hurt game 1 of that first finals. So, I think it's appropriate. I think it's
mean, yeah,
appropriate.
I'm fine with it, but it's like there has to be a standard to where like you have to hit a certain like threshold to have your jersey retired.
Maybe. I'm okay with it being retired. I'm okay. Then we do have, of course,
I was gonna say, you okay if they retire Kyle Lowry's jersey in Miami?
what has Kyle Lowry done? He's played. This is the second season he's been with us, and he's
Yeah,
been
bro.
hurt for half this year.
Because he's got the league's fattest ass, so I mean, like, you gotta retire it for that.
You only retire the dump truck. You only retire the
yeah.
shorts, not the jersey. You retire the shorts. It's the first short retirement in the NBA. You don't retire his jersey.
Those shirts are going to the Hall of Fame, bro.
Yeah. God. There was another guard that did reach a buyout and signed for a new team as well today, and it was Russell Westbrook going back to LA, not the Lakers, the Clippers. He gets a buyout of $47 million from the Utah Jazz. Nice move. And now he gets to go against LeBron and the Lakers. He has to play with his former teammate Paul George, who loved playing with in OKC. He actually wished that they didn't break up that duo while he was there. And it's a good signing because they had Bones Highland and Terrence Mann at the 1, which isn't a bad partnership because they're both good players,
Just
but
really young.
they're just young. They need the veteran presence, and they got rid of Reggie Jackson during the trade deadline. So this is a good piece. I mean, they have Eric Gordon and Norman Powell to help run the 2 and the 3 with them too. But the Clippers look deep. I mean, the Clippers honestly could have used Zeller, who signed with the Heat, because I think that if Zubac gets hurt, I think their bigs are a little on the short side because Markieff Morris plays the 4. But I mean, they look like a good team now. I think they, as long as, again, of course, injuries are everything with the Clippers, but I think they can make a run and be the 3 seed when the season ends.
Dude, the fucking Western Conference playoffs are gonna be insanely fun to watch. Like
Hmm.
Jokic, you got Jokic on the Nuggets. Ja's always fun to watch. The Suns, like I don't
KD.
know, best trio in since LeBron, Bosh, and D Wade. Like
Hmm.
then you've got Kawhi, PG, and Russ. You've got Zion if he ever wants to suit up again with Brandon Ingram. You've got Luca and Kyrie with Dallas. Like there's 6 or 7 teams in the West that I could say right now I wouldn't be surprised if they won the West. Whereas at the East, it's really a 2 team race.
I mean, you could throw Philly in there. I
Okay, yeah,
mean,
three,
I,
three
I,
with
I
Philly.
can say 3.
Yeah,
But I agree. I mean, the West 1 through 7 is going to be a dog
it's
fight.
crazy.
I mean, I know the Pelicans are tied with the T Wolves and only a half game ahead of the Warriors, but again, 1 through 7 is going to be crazy. Like, I think how it is now will be
Personally.
close to how it finishes because I think Sacramento won't end up as the 3 seed. I think they'll fall to 5. But
But
man, you
even
have the,
them with like Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, like that's fun to watch too.
oh no, it's
Yeah,
great
like
entertainment value.
it's great. Like 1 through 8, like if Golden State sneaks in and kicks out like New Orleans, one
Hmm.
through eight is going. That might be the best Western Conference playoffs that I can remember.
Like you could have theoretically, you could have Phoenix playing LA, which would be
Yeah,
the matchup right now in the 4-5 matchup.
yeah.
Like Kawhi against KD, Paul George against D Book. Like that's gonna be a great matchup. So Chris
Or
Paul against Westbrook.
yeah, but then you could also like, okay, what if the Suns play Dallas? Like you get Devin
Oh,
Booker and
Kyrie
Luca,
and
Kyrie and KD playing against each other. Like
yeah,
the storylines for the West are gonna be crazy. Ja against the Suns because I know or not Ja. The Pelicans against the Suns who had beef earlier this year with
yeah, yeah. They
like
did.
Luca against anybody. Like Luca versus Jokic, the two like probably best foreign players right now playing
Hmm.
against each other. I don't know, there's so many storylines in the West. I'm so excited for the playoffs.
I would love it if the Thunder were to make it, because if you could see like Shea against Ja Morant in the
Oh
first
my
round,
god, dude,
that'd
that'd
be
be
such a good
crazy.
matchup. Like, 'cause Shea is taller than Ja and obviously really good athletically and scoring. I mean, he's the second highest scorer in the NBA right now, besides Embiid. So I think that'd be a great matchup. There's a lot of potentials for good matchups. I mean, somebody's got to miss it. I think the T Wolves personally are not going to make it, and I think the Warriors aren't going to make it if Steph can't play more games. But it's going to be good to see who actually does
Yeah, the
in the
T Wolves
West.
T Wolves kind of got screwed by Carl Anthony Towns going down with injury, and they still have no clue when he's gonna come back. They said like the last 10 games maybe.
Yep.
So if he's able to get up to speed and play with like 15, 10, 15 games left, they might have a chance of getting in. But like it could end as it is now, and I'm perfectly content.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait. I'm definitely going to watch because I'll be at Geek's place actually when the playoffs start. So we're going to watch a lot of
Nice.
playoff games. We're going to be there.
I didn't even mention like the whole Russell Westbrook thing, but yeah, I think it's a pretty solid signing for him. They're going to get
Hmm.
veteran presence at the point, which is what you need in the playoffs is veteran presence at the point, which is why teams like the Suns with Chris Paul and Dallas with Kyrie, I think are going to be favored over teams like Memphis with Ja. But yeah, I mean there are what 4 or 5? They're 5, right? The
For what?
Clippers in
The
the playoffs.
Clippers are 4, the Suns are
Suns are
5,
5.
and the Kings are 3.
Okay. I mean, basketball starts on Thursday again. We still have a couple more days, but
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, yeah. If it ended now, I'm perfectly content. I think the Clippers made a solid signing. Someone said that in the playoffs, it's gonna sound like Afghanistan at Staples Arena with all of the bricks that hit the backboard and rim.
Oh my God. That's so bad.
Yeah,
That's so bad.
it's so bad, but I thought it was pretty funny and
Okay.
slightly accurate. Like they are going to shoot terribly in the playoffs, but it's gonna be funny to watch.
Don't you know it's Crypto.com arena now, anyways? It's not even
Oh,
called the
sorry,
Staples
it's not
Center.
Staples Center.
It's not the Staples
Crypto.com.
Center.
My bad, my bad.
No. I think that's it for basketball. I mean, it's going to be great, though. I can't wait to watch the playoffs. And of course, we'll see who actually wins the lottery if it's whoever wins the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. I know Detroit is in
Let's
it.
go.
Houston's in it. Imagine if do the Lakers own their pick this year? Let me
No.
see.
I feel like they. No, they don't.
Oh, the Pelicans have the
Yeah.
right to swap. I'm about
God.
to say, imagine the Lakers win the lottery and then the Pelicans get Victor
Oh my
Wembanyama.
god.
Yeah, the Pelicans have the right to swap these next 3 years for the Lakers.
When does Bronny? When's his draft class? Is he next? Not this upcoming one, but the next one.
2020, I think he's going to be a senior in high school next season. So
So he's after Wembanyama.
I think he's a junior. Let me see. He's at Sierra Canyon. No, he's class 2023. So this will be the year he graduates high school.
But he won't be in this draft, right? Wait.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, he's in the next draft. Yeah,
He's graduating high school. So he
bro.
has. I mean, he has visited a lot of places. Actually, I lie. He has offers from 3 schools, but he hasn't taken any visits yet. LeBron hasn't. He has an offer from Memphis, Ohio State, and USC,
That's
and
it.
then Michigan, Oregon, Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, and North Carolina have shown interest, but they haven't like made an offer. He hasn't gotten to visit any school,
Yeah.
so I think he's gonna wait till the season's done
The
before.
the fact that a team can win Wembanyama, the next year might be able to draft Bronny,
Hmm.
and then get LeBron to sign as a free agent to that team.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I mean, he's the number 33 recruit, so it's not like he's
Yeah,
bad.
he's
Like
not going.
he's a 4-star recruit.
No,
Like you're not getting him just for the name. And
no.
the thing is, he's 6'3 and 16. Like he's 190, 6'3. Like he could end up being taller than LeBron.
Yeah, the thing is, like, he's gonna go higher in the draft than he probably should based on skill wise, just because of his name and the fact that if you draft Bronny, you're probably getting the last year of LeBron James. So
Yeah.
like, not only is that gonna be huge marketing for the team with almost every game on TV, but like you'll still get a LeBron that'll probably still drop 20 points a game and 8 assists, 8 rebounds. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, whoever drafts Bronny might be set up for both financial and elite success.
So I'm looking at it now. He unofficially visited Duke 4 years ago when he was in middle school,
God damn.
and then he unofficially visited Ohio State. Which I mean, if I had to guess, he's going to go to Ohio State or USC because
I
USC
don't
is where
think
he
so.
lives. Ohio State is where obviously Cleveland.
Yeah, but Ohio State's just not like a big basketball program.
Yeah,
I
especially
don't
when they
know.
started conference play, they were ranked what 24, and they haven't been
Man,
ranked since.
I got dookied on in conference play.
They did. But our last notes are not about basketball. They're about football. Believe it or not, even when there's no football, we still got to bring you some football content. And we are continuing our rankings. Last week we talked about the quarterbacks. This week we're talking about the running backs. And of course, we're going to start. Taylor, you can start with the top 5 running backs you feel for next season.
All right, top five in no particular order. CMC, after he had a very good year with San Francisco,
Hmm.
and somehow did not make. He made a pro. No, he didn't make the Pro Bowl.
Alternate.
Yeah, but he didn't make it as like a starter. Made it as an
Yep.
alternate. Gonna have a great year. Dalvin Cook, who I think he was able to shake off the injury-prone tag after having a good year this year. We'll see if he can stay healthy. I think he's set up for success in Minnesota. Nick Chubb, I think is still top five running back. It was between him and Josh Jacobs for my list, just because Josh Jacobs had an insane year.
Hmm.
But Josh Jacobs also might not be staying in Vegas. We don't know
Vegas.
where he's gonna go yet.
Hmm.
It's gonna be hard to replicate that anywhere, especially if he stays in Vegas. I think Saquon, top five still. After people thought he was gonna have a really bad year this year and not drafting him in the top five, um, I think he's kind of solidified that. And lastly, maybe this is a little biased because he was on my team, Derrick Henry. Uh, Injury prone, yes. When he's healthy, is he the best running back in the league? Absolutely. Um, it's just whether or not this man is going to be healthy this year.
I agree with a lot of your picks. I mean, CMC McCaffrey for me is going to be the first pick. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is definitely not. And I think McCaffrey in that system with a full offseason of Kyle Shanahan's offense at the Niners, like, you cannot focus on Christian McCaffrey because Debo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk will beat you. no matter who the quarterback is. I think Derrick Henry is my number two. I mean, I know he had a little bit of injury concerns this year and last year, but when you watch him play, you're watching a tank on a football field. Like, it looks like it takes four defenders to tackle him every time he gets the ball. I think what Tennessee does at the quarterback position will impact it, of course, but he has just been so consistent year in and year out that you know you're going to get at least 9 touchdowns. You're going to get at least 1,000 yards, Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
So, not, and you know he's going to go off against Houston and Jacksonville every week. So, I think Saquon for sure, whether he signs the Giants or not, he's gonna be a great player. He proved that he's over his injury concerns. He got fully healthy.
It's gonna look great in teal, aqua teal, and orange this
Yeah,
year.
yeah. The Dolphins don't have the money, but if the Dolphins sign any of these guys, I'm taking them first. Josh Jacobs, a great player, really had a bounce back season after not really any doubts, but he got the full amount of carries that I feel like he was missing his first couple seasons. For some reason, they kept wanting to like trade off carries with him, whether it was um, Kenneth Drake in at Vegas, it was Zamir White rumored this offseason, but he got the full carries and he did a great season, deserved Pro
Kenyon
Bowl.
Drake, Miami Dolphins legend.
Miami Dolphins legend, Miami Miracle, Kenyon Drake. And I like Nick Chubb, even though I think Nick Chubb might even creep to number two in this list simply because Kareem Hunt is not re-signing with Cleveland.
No.
And them with Deshaun Watson, as much as I don't like the guy, he's going to be much better in Cleveland in year two, actually getting a full offseason and training. And I think they're going to be closer to the red zone a lot. I think his yardage might go down, but I think his touchdowns are going to go up a lot. So I love Nick Chubb as a fifth pick and with really high floor ceiling. And his floor is always high. The only cap against him was they were bringing Kareem Hunt in so much, but they really went away from that this season and just decided to give Chubb the ball, and they ended up doing a lot better when he had more than 20 carries.
They're gonna have a better offense this year too, with a whole year of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'll start with underrated because I feel like these guys are good, but I feel like you may be surprised when they're drafted in round one or two of your drafts, but you shouldn't be because these guys have great seasons, and I think they're picks that at the end of the next season, you're going to be like, man, how did I not draft this guy? Or I wish I did, like Josh Jacobs was this past year. So I'm thinking Joe Mixon. He was a borderline first round, second round pick. He'll probably be the same this year, but very consistent, getting better as a pass catcher, doing good. So he almost never leaves the field essentially now for Cincinnati on a very high offense. Ramondre Stevenson for the Patriots really took the lot of carries from Damian Harris this season, who I had last year and was great for me. But Ramondre Stevens showed like Bill Belichick really trusts him. He had a little bit of fumble issues, but even then he still gave him the ball and really showed he can be a great runner. Kenneth Walker, I think Kenneth Walker is going to hit 1,300 yards because he Seattle is a very much run heavy offense. You saw um, Rashad Penny get hurt this year. He's not going to resign with Seattle likely. He's going to be the main running back they use. And I like James Cook of Buffalo. I know they've had Devin Singletary there for a while. They got Naeem Hines at the trade deadline, but you could tell James Cook is better than both of those running backs. And in year two of being in Buffalo, I think he's going to handle the majority of the touches because Josh Allen, like they showed this year, like Josh Allen can't just be asked to sit back and toss it because he's just going to throw so many more interceptions. And I think James Cook is going to be what helps that offense get back to where they were last year.
Yeah, that's what Buffalo's missing is like a bona fide starting running back, like a top
Hmm
10 guy in the league. If they had anybody in the top 10, that team is unstoppable. Um, I have a couple that I agree with. I think Joe Mixon is going to have a really good year. Like he's going to be underrated because he's not going to be like that top five pick, and then the next three or four going to be wide receivers. Jamal Williams, I think is going to be a very underrated pick this year. Yeah, it's biased. You're a Lions fan. This man led the league in touchdowns this year. Rushing
That's
touchdowns, sorry.
that's why I'm judging you more. I don't care about the Lions pick, but it's so hard to keep touchdowns consistency.
Touchdown merchant, baby.
It's so hard to keep that consistent. That's why I'm hesitant about him. I love him. He's a great player, but like he got what 19 touchdowns this season?
Yeah, something like that. It was crazy.
Like it's so hard to replicate that.
I think he's going to take over the number one spot in Detroit, though. And I'll explain why in my don't draft list.
Okay.
But I think he's going to take over the number one. I have Tyler Algier from Atlanta. That offense sucks. Like that offense is so bad. There, what's his name? Desmond Ritter's probably going to start. I don't think they've announced it yet,
He's
obviously.
gonna start. He's gonna
Yeah,
start.
he's probably going to, but a rookie quarterback and a team that has really no outside weapons. What's going on with Cordero Patterson? Is he a free agent or?
Cordell Patterson does not have a contract this upcoming season. You're right.
Okay, so he's just gone. So Tyler Algier is going to take over number one spot in Atlanta. Yeah, they're going to be behind a lot, but like I don't think Desmond Ritter's getting it done. They're going to have to be a rushing team,
Hmm.
and I think Tyler Algier is going to be the beneficiary of that. I have Joe Mixon, and I have another one that you're not going to agree with. Touchdown merchant himself, James Conner. Had a really bad year last year, but who on the Cardinals didn't have a bad year? I am fully believing the Cardinals have a bounce back year with Kyler Murray, James Conner, 1-2 punch. I say he finishes third in touchdowns total next year. Third. James Conner.
You're off your head, dude. James
Oh
Conner
no,
sucks.
no,
James Conner
no.
sucks. James
I'm
Conner is
telling you, I'm
awful.
telling you right now, James Conner will be a top 5 running back by the end of next season.
Okay, what if he's not? What happens if he's not? Because I don't think at all he's gonna touch
I'll
top
shave
five.
my head.
Okay, I'll take that.
I will shave my head live on podcast.
I will take that. I will
All right.
gladly take that.
Or
I
what
will.
happens if what if he does?
I'll do the same.
All
Do the
right.
same. I'll do the same because there's
James-
no way James Conner is finishing top five.
Top 10, top 10. Top 10.
No, you said top five. You
Yeah.
said top five.
All right, fuck it, I'll ride with it. James Conner will be a top 5 running back next year.
Oh man, you're gonna look so cute, bald.
I will.
God. Speaking of my don't draft list, James Conner's an honorable mention on there. I actually think Dalvin Cook is don't draft. Now here's why. I had Dalvin Cook on my team last year. You look at his overall numbers and you say, wow, he actually had a decent season. I look at his per game numbers, and this man is a roller coaster. He will go 20 yards for one game with 12 catches or 12 carries, sorry, and then the next he'll break 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. You need consistency in fantasy, and I know overall it works out well, but you need like the Mike Evans, you need the Joe Mixons. Dalvin Cook, when the Vikings are hot, he's great. But when they're not, dude, he sucks. He can't grab 2 yards a carry. I personally, especially for where he's going to be drafted in drafts this year, which is going to be near the end of the first, early second, I would wait until he drops to the third and draft him there because I'm not drafting him in the second round.
So you wouldn't take him as your RB2?
No, I wouldn't take him as my RB2. If he was in second round for me,
Damn.
no. But if I'm in the third round and I already have a running back one and a wide receiver one, or I have Kelsey, then I'm taking him. But I'm not taking him as my RB1. Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, kind of self-explanatory. We're both going to agree on this. Ain't nobody taking Zeke Elliott. He ran a 60-yard dash in 6 seconds. Like, this man is slow.
That man is chalked.
Or, sorry, he used to run a 60-yard dash in 60 seconds. He can't even crack it in 10. Like, no.
That man's done.
No way to Zeke. Jonathan Taylor. Only reason why I say don't draft. He's probably going to go top 5 or top 6 in drafts with a new head coach, new quarterback for sure. I don't know how this offense is going to look with him. I don't know how they're going to utilize him as much. He had injury concerns this past year, and the old line was much worse than it was last year when he had number 1 running back. I would say don't draft him in the top 8. You could say you can still draft him as a running back 1 if you're at the turn of the rounds, but I wouldn't draft him higher than that because, again, I feel like it's inconsistency and wait and see. He's still a great player, but he needs to get a little bit healthier, and you got to see what they do in the offseason, if they're going to go pass heavy, if they're going to like switch it up. So we'll see what happens in Indy. Najee Harris. I'm not touching Najee Harris. He was my first round pick this year. Never again. I think he picked it up towards the end, but only because of touchdowns. I mean, he looked scared running the ball. He looked hesitant. He didn't look like he could find the hole. If it was literally right in front of him, he would just dirt
heavy.
To the side.
He just looked like he was running heavy. Like slow, heavy, just couldn't do anything.
And he's a beast. That's the thing. I don't question his physical abilities, but his vision was terrible. And finally, this is going to be interesting because I had him in one of my other leagues, Dameon Pierce. Now, here's why. He was a great player for Houston, great rookie running back. Everyone knew that he was underutilized at UF. Gets to Houston, has a great year for the rookie. But he got hurt towards the end of the season. He's still going to be recovering a little bit from that injury. New quarterback, new head coaching staff, questionable offensive line, very similar to Jonathan Taylor. Dameon Pierce might be drafted in the 3rd round of drafts this year. Don't touch him till the 5th. you have way better options. You're going to have way better receivers you can take, like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, even Keenan Allen. You're going to have Jalen Waddle there. Like, you're going to have way better options that are more consistent at that position. You can take Mark Andrews or quarterback before you take Damian Pierce. I think he should be a running back 2 or flex, but I don't think he's worth a top 4 round draft pick. I think after that is fine, but I would hesitate on him. He's still a great player, and he could still have a jump, but I'm gonna hold off on taking
He's on
him.
a really shitty team.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't know how much better they're gonna get in year 2 with him there. Like, obviously, they're gonna get a quarterback, but rookie quarterbacks turn the ball over. They make mistakes in the red zone. It's hard to trust them. So I'm gonna hesitate on Damian Pierce.
Obviously, all these draft rankings could change by the end of 3 months with the draft. Well, the draft's longer than 3 months, but
Yeah.
by the time the season starts, I mean, with trades, draft, like this could all change.
Mhm.
I have my don't draft. I have Zeke for obvious explanation. He just has not been effective in the last few years. I'm not going to waste a draft pick on him unless it's like 10th round and he somehow slides all the way down there.
Mhm.
And knowing our league, he might actually drop that far.
Yep.
I've got DeAndre Swift, so you can't say he's biased.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
true.
DeAndre Swift, he's shown flashes of like, wow, this guy might be really good, and that's it. It's just been
Mhm.
flashes, lightning in a bottle, flashes in the pan. Like, can't really stay healthy. He's gonna be a really big what if this year does not go well. I think Jamal Williams and what he's done for both the team and the city, dude. The city loves this man. Like, funniest guy on the team. Like, cares about the city. Loves Detroit. I think he's gonna usurp DeAndre Swift as the RB1. Um, DeAndre Swift will still be effective. He's just not going to get the carries, the touches. He's not going to get as much as Jamal Williams is going to get.
Mhm.
And Najee Harris, same explanation. Just looked slow, looked heavy. Vision was bad. Just not a good O line. Like, I don't see much changing there unless he has a complete career renaissance and figures something out in the offseason. Lastly, I have Cam Akers, who was a borderline like breakout star when you drafted him last year. If you got him in like the mid rounds, you were like, oh my
He was a
god,
top 4 round pick. People were
yeah,
drafting him in the 3rd round or as the running back too.
yeah. Like
So
if you got him in like the fifth or sixth round, you're like, wow, that's a steal. Like Cam Akers is going to be the RB1 on a really good Rams team coming off a Super Bowl win,
mhm.
and he just he asked out week 1 or whatever he wanted out, didn't play for half the season, and then came back, had a pretty decent end of the year. I'm still staying away from him. They don't
Mhm.
really have any other options there. Kyron Williams looked pretty decent in his short amount of time that he played, but I'm still not touching Cam Akers until he can prove that he can have an elite like top 15 season.
Mhm. I agree. I mean, again, he looked better towards the end of the season when they actually decided, oh, hey, let's give him the ball. But it's hard to see if that is consistent because after week 1, Daryl Henderson was the back for 6 weeks, and then they cut Daryl Henderson like week 12, and then Cam Akers gets all the
Yeah,
touches.
Cam. Yeah,
So
Cam. You asked for a trade. Get back on in here.
yeah, and then they keep him. So that's what I'm saying. It's a very weird situation in LA. But I agree with your list. I think Swift, like you said, week 1, everyone was willing to trade everything for
Oh,
DeAndre
dude, I
Swift.
was I was getting him up. I was giving up draft picks. I was like, I need DeAndre
Yeah.
Swift. Like draft picks, whatever you want from my team, just bring them over here.
And then you did it, and then Jamal Williams ends up with
Yeah.
17 touchdowns, not 19. But still, I think that's a good list. I think you're right in Zeke and Cam. I think it's hard to trust those running backs. Like I think you could still draft them, but wait a round or two.
Yeah,
Don't get them at their ADP. Definitely don't draft them
no,
early,
I'm
unless
definitely
you.
not taking him first round.
And I think overall in fantasy, like the biggest deal is take the people you want to play. Like you could also listen to nobody. Listen to nobody and do what you want with your team. It's your team, but I think
Why do you think
just
I always draft a Lions player like second round?
I'm still drafting Calvin Johnson in 2023.
bro, bro, you know I don't care when my team is T.J. Hawkinson, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Jamal Williams, and DeAndre Swift last year. So
Yep. Can't be Hawk this year though.
thank God,
But
get him out of here.
yep. But I think that is it for us. I
Nah, nah,
think.
nah, 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 nah.
Oh,
You know what we forgot to do is the weekly question.
oh, you're right. I didn't. I didn't.
I didn't put it in the Google Doc so you couldn't cheat. Not cheat. Think of your
Cheat.
answer. I want
Okay.
your answer live
Okay.
on air.
Sure thing.
All right. So there was a discussion. I don't remember who it was. Patrick Mahomes was
Mhm.
asked if an average person played quarterback, could he complete one pass in a game?
Mhm.
I think, yeah, he said Patrick Mahomes said no chance. I think that's completely wrong. I can make one check down pass. That's bullshit. I think any average American can do that. All you got to do is make a one check down pass to complete. My question:
Hmm.
out of the four major sports, so
Yep.
which one do you think is the easiest, and which one do you think which one would take you the longest? Which one would take you the shortest amount of time to hit a ball in baseball?
Okay. Okay.
Hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball,
Hmm.
dead center. Hit a 3-point shot. That's being you're they're playing defense.
Okay.
Hit a three in a game. Hit a
Hmm.
ball. Hit like a single. I don't know. Yeah, hit a single, not just hit the ball. Hit a single
Okay.
and or more. Score a goal in the NHL
Okay.
or complete a pass in the NFL.
So hardest is
Complete a pass over 5 yards in the NFL.
okay.
Air
So
yards, not like a dump down.
yeah, yeah, like no yak, no yak,
No yak.
just no yak.
5 yards. It's a slant boy, Michael Thomas.
Easily hardest is NHL. I can't skate, dude. I can't even skate. I can't skate and hold a stick. You think I'm gonna get a goal and go past a goalie? No way. That's definitely not in my
That's easily
repertoire.
the hardest one.
Easily the hardest for me. Next is baseball. I could eventually catch up to a baseball and get a hit, but it would take me a lot of time. I think it would. It's not that it's super difficult. It is, but I think with enough repetition and time, you eventually could get a single. Like you could eventually find the gap, hit it over, like just beyond the pitcher, and get a single. Or I mean, I'm not saying the fastest person alive, but I think I could run pretty quick to first base if I just had a little like just off the bat, almost like a bunt, and then just ran as much as quick as I could.
If you were in a 162 game season, played every game, got 4 at bats every game.
Oh yeah, no, easily. It's taken like I would say a month. It would take a month.
A month?
It would take a month. Yeah,
No.
it's hard.
No,
It's
I'm saying
hard.
it should take you longer than a month.
Oh no, I'm saying a month. If every pitch is a fastball, you said a 95 mile an hour fastball.
I'm
Oh,
changing
if
it
it's
up.
the
I'm
whole
changing it up.
season,
Yeah,
then it's
the whole
probably
season,
then it's
you're getting
probably half the
curveballs and-
season.
yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, I can't have a slider to save my life. You think I'm gonna be able to judge whether it's a ball or strike? Also,
I'm changing up the criteria for it. It's
okay.
you don't know what's coming.
If I'm hitting 9 DH every season, getting 3 at bats a game, no, it's taking me half a season. It's taking me half a season.
That's more fair.
Yeah. No, but if it's just fastballs, eventually I'll catch up to it and judge it when it's a ball or strike. I would say number 2 is going to be basketball. No, it's going to be football. It's going to be football number 2, because I think his main thought was, what if the check down is covered, or like, can you make a read, or can you adjust, or like, what if there's a free safety blitz coming from the edge? You have to make the adjustment in time. I think a lot of people think they can analyze information way quicker, real time, than when it actually happens. So I think that's what he's getting at. Not about the ability. Like I'm sure, like people can throw 50 yards, like that aren't in the, don't play football, but I think it's more so about analyzing everything what goes into it, and you also have to be tall enough. Like I can barely see over the old lineman. You know, I'm like Kyler Murray's height, if not a little bit taller. So like, I think that's the hardest part. I think ability wise, yes, I would be able to, but I think hitting a three, if you give me 10 3-point attempts, I'm making one in the NBA. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
I have done it. I have been on an NBA court for the Heat and the Basketball Hall of Fame in Massachusetts, and I have hit an NBA three. It took me less than 10 attempts both times. So I think I'm doing it easily. But that's the order. I go basketball, football, baseball, hockey.
I think I'm different than you. I think I'd say baseball. I think is the hardest. We saw my prowess with a baseball bat a month ago, and
Yeah.
I don't. I think it would take me forever. I don't know if I'd be able to do it in a season.
God.
I'm not fast. Like, I'm not legging out an infield single. I'm not throwing down a suicide squeeze bunt. Like, if I'm getting a hit, it's gonna be a bloop into like center field.
Or
I
like
did do.
right
I
right
did
that
do that.
okay. You gotta hit it like just over the infield or like down the line, essentially.
Yeah, but like I'm not catching up to 90, and I am swinging through curveballs, sliders in the dirt.
Hmm.
Hockey, I think I'd actually have a decent chance. I'll say third,
Hmm.
but I can skate. I know how to play hockey. Like I haven't played ice hockey before competitively, but I can skate, stick handle, I can shoot. Like, and then at the end of the game, the whole empty net situation, I could score an empty netter easy. Like
Yeah.
other team pulls the goal, you get an extra skater out. Like I'm scoring that.
But also imagine surviving the entire hockey
Oh,
game,
bro, I'm dead.
being chucked into the boards.
Bro,
Also,
I'm dead, bro.
that's what I'm saying. Like I couldn't survive hockey. Like no way.
I mean,
like
like, granted, I am a bigger dude, so like maybe I'd be able to take it a little bit more. But like, I'm getting the shit beat out of me. But I'm scoring one goal in an entire season. I think.
okay.
Even if it's an empty netter, they could put me on the ice at the end of the game, and I'll score the empty netter.
Oh yeah.
Uh, basketball, football. I think is slightly harder than basketball, even though I
Hmm.
think both would be pretty easy.
Yeah.
We're like the same height, so I feel like I could roll out once and hit someone for 5 yards. Like if
Okay.
I have good protection, I'm rolling. And if I can throw 60 a game, and I can throw 100 interceptions. Doesn't matter. I'm completing one pass. Like this does not matter.
Yeah.
I will complete
Okay.
one pass over the middle, or I'll roll out. Like as long as I know the route and the timing, I'm good. Basketball, bro, I could shoot 40% in the NBA right now. Sign me up.
40%? What the heck? You're lying.
I can't shoot that, but like I'm
No.
with you. Like I could shoot. If I took 20 a game, I'm making one of them.
Yeah, you go 1 for 10 when we play pickup. So like, and that
Yeah,
was
like
before meniscus and ACL injuries took their
hey,
toll. So like,
but like if I can shoot as many times as I want, like I'm taking 25 shots, I'm hitting one. Like I'm running out in transition. I'm
hmm
getting we're
cherry
getting this.
picking.
I'm cherry picking in the motherfucking corner. Like that's it. It's a rep. I'm gonna hit one of those shots. Like I think
Okay.
basketball. Everyone that's like, oh, you can't make a three in game. Like, bro, I can make a three and a quarter. Like,
hmm
come on, it's not that tough. Especially if you're in transition, odd man rush. Like all you gotta do is kick it to me, and I'm good. I hit it.
Okay. Okay. I hope that was enough to answer your question.
It was good. It was good.
I didn't realize what was going on, but I think that's it. I think we said it was gonna be a quick episode, and we've been recording for an
Hey,
hour and a
this is
half.
probably gonna be the longest one we've
Yeah,
had.
as always,
Jesus.
as always. But it's always a pleasure. I mean, because we just find things in sports to talk about. You know, we started with the Alabama basketball travesty, and now we're talking about can we hit a goal in hockey. So it's just good, good coverage, good spread of sports. I think that's it for me. I don't have anything else to offer, honestly. I think I'm good.
No, I think I'm good this week. And I mean, we got basketball, but
College and
college basketball. But other than that, I don't know if you watch any of the XF or the USFL. I don't give a shit about that. But I know that
that's
started. But
yep.
they did have some interesting rules, and we can talk about that next episode. That
hmm
honestly wouldn't be terrible in the NFL. We won't get into it now because this episode's running long. But they do have some cool rules that I think would work well in the NFL. Um, other than that, nothing really going on. No big golf. I mean, it's a pretty weekend. Spring
Yep.
training. Spring training does start this weekend. I
It
forgot about
does.
that. So baseball is on the horizon. You gonna go catch a game down there? Do you guys have any?
Yeah, they play in Jupiter. The Marlins are in Jupiter with the Cardinals.
Okay.
I might Friday. We'll see. Because Thursday, like, I got stuff going on, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
spring break is next week, so I won't even be down here. But we'll see. We'll see if we catch a game.
yeah. I think we have like 15 teams in the Phoenix area. So
Yeah, and then Florida has
off
the
it.
rest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So spring training. I guess we could start talking about baseball next week. If
Yeah.
I mean it's spring training, but hey, it's
Hey,
better
it's
than
something.
nothing.
Something.
It's something. It's something.
You know, one key player is gonna get hurt in spring training, like
Oh,
pulling
I
a
already
calf or something.
know,
Yeah.
bro. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah. But I think that's it for us. Catch us on YouTube and on Spotify, wherever you're listening
Uh,
to. We're on both.
so the YouTube's a little fucked up right now. So when we set it up, we couldn't put 31305 as the name, and we tried to change it. And the editor Grace, my girlfriend, just put podcast she, and
We
saved it.
are we are
We
the
are we
podcast.
are literally on YouTube right now until we can change the name podcast. If you
We
want to
are
search
podcast.
if you want to search it, it's youtube.com/at symbol 31305 pod. You cannot type 31305 podcast in YouTube; it will not work because we cannot change the name for another 7 days. Bear with us. This episode will be on YouTube, but youtube.com/at 31305 pod, and then normally on Spotify.
Or just catch the link on Spotify or Instagram.
Yeah,
Also much easier.
we'll post links too. So
Yes. But I think that's it for now. That is episode 12 in the books, and we
three
will catch
months.
you 3 months down. We will catch you. Of course, I will not forget that Taylor has to shave his head if James Conner is on a top five running back.
You can write it down now.
I will fly to Arizona and shave it for you. Or you will fly here and
All right.
shave it. We can do that.
Okay.
We can do that. But until next time, I'm Alex,
I'm Taylor.
and we'll see you then.